Live from Arkansas' streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to THV 11 Plus. I'm Hayden Balgavy.
And I'm Karen Fuller.
I'm meteorologist Tracy Bean. Ashley is off this week, so I am handling traffic and weather. And
There's one backup.
Yeah, so far it's been okay. We've had a little backup, but it's not been because of an accident.
It's moving.
Yeah, we've actually had some just road work done, and they closed a couple of lanes, and it's backed things up. And that's starting to unwind, but it's taking a little time.
Gotcha. They're wrapping things up.
Yeah.
I love them. I think of them all the time when they have to work those crazy overnight hours. But then I'm sure they are happy to be out of the heat today, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be a warm day. We're going to get to traffic first this morning and talk about Interstate 30. We have been watching this backup. They were doing some work on a few of the lanes around 65th Street on Interstate 30 eastbound, but you can see that backup is stretching quite a ways. So this is right around Stanton Road, and then it goes all the way back to Scott Hamilton. So again, it's starting to unwind. It's actually moving pretty well right now. And if you just look at the map here, things are overall green, but as we are looking at Interstate 30, we're still seeing things just a little bit backed up in those few slowdowns. As we're looking at drive times this morning, things are moving along. If you're coming from Conway on Interstate 40, moving about 66 miles per hour, taking about 26 minutes. We are still seeing that slowdown from Interstate 30 if you're coming in from Benton, taking you just a little bit longer this morning. And from Cabot, we're moving right along at 57 miles per hour average speed and taking you right at 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and shift gears to weather this morning. We do have a weather impact alert as we are seeing this extreme heat warning for central Arkansas and off to the east, and the heat advisory. So no matter where you are today, you do have a heat alert. So make sure you're staying hydrated and keep an eye on each other. And we're going to see variations of this map through tomorrow evening as well. We may just see some of those counties exchange for an advisory warning criteria. Just keeping that in mind. Out there right now, a little haze, and it's very, very muggy out there as we're starting the morning off. It's already 83, and we really didn't drop much last night. That dew point is up there at 74, and that heat index already feeling like 89 out there. Winds are moving just a little bit around 3 miles per hour. We had 6 to 7 mile per hour gusts earlier. So again, it at least moves that stagnant air. As far as that heat index around the state right now, as I mentioned, feeling like 89 here in Little Rock, already feeling those mid to upper 80s in a lot of locations. But overall, we're still looking for a few hot days ahead. I do have that weather impact alert today. Could reach 100 degrees. There is a chance of a few little light isolated showers pushing through later this afternoon. They could keep us from that. But even if we do get those showers, it's still going to be extremely hot today. Keeping those upper 90s for a couple of days, but big things headed our way, maybe even some 80s by the weekend. We'll talk more about that in my forecast.
We start with a breaking news update on a mass shooting in New York City. 4 people are dead, including an NYPD officer, after police say a man opened fire inside a Manhattan high-rise last night. A 5th person is seriously injured. Now, police say after the shooting spree, the suspect took his own life. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn reports from the scene.
Emergency responders carried a man from a high-rise building in Midtown Manhattan where a gunman opened fire, stopping on the street to perform CPR.
4 officers came out and they were carrying what looked like to me another officer that looked injured.
Police swarmed the building on Park Avenue minutes after shots were reported. One of their own is among those killed, 36-year-old Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh who became an NYPD officer 3.5 years ago.
He was saving lives. He was protecting New Yorkers.
The suspect was identified as 27-year-old Shane Tamura from Las Vegas. Police say he drove his car cross-country, arriving just before the shooting and double parking outside. He then entered the building armed with an M4 rifle and started shooting.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar.
In that lobby, police say he also shot and killed a security officer and injured another man before taking the elevator to the 33rd floor, where he continued shooting, killing another person. Police say that's also where he took his own life.
His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location.
The NYPD says another loaded gun and ammunition were found in the suspect's car. They say he had a history of mental illness. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The building where the shooting happened is also home to the NFL headquarters. Commissioner Roger Goodell sent a memo to employees that says a coworker was the man shot and seriously injured in the attack. He says the employee is in the hospital in stable condition.
A THV 11 update now. Investigators have found the body of Braden Roberson 5 days after he went missing from Camden. Search crews located the 18-year-old Monday in a wooded area near Norflet, just north of El Dorado. Deputies say Roberson left home last Thursday to meet his ex-girlfriend. Through interviews and evidence gathered during the investigation, detectives have since made 3 arrests of these people: Bryson Vaughn, Melanie Pipkin, and Cameron Hildebrand. All 3 are accused of capital murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. The state crime lab is working to determine a cause of death.
In Little Rock, police are investigating after someone shot and killed a man Monday afternoon. They got a call to the Westbridge Apartments on Labette Manor Drive at a little after 3:30. When they got there, they found a man unresponsive in the parking lot. Once paramedics arrived, he was pronounced dead at the scene. We are still working to learn more, and we will update you as soon as we have information.
It is 7:07. A federal judge has blocked Act 624, a new Arkansas law that could have forced dozens of pharmacies to close.
The law aims to keep pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, who negotiate drug costs with insurance companies from also operating as pharmacies. Now, companies like CVS and Express Scripts sued to stop it from taking effect.
The nationwide chains warned lawmakers during debate over the bill that it would force them to close 23 drugstores in Arkansas. But advocates, including Governor Sanders, argue the law is needed because PBMs are muscling out independent drugstores and raising drug prices for everyone.
After a hearing earlier this month, Judge Brian Miller agreed that the law has at least 2 problems. It illegally favors in-state business over out-of-state chains, and it gets in the way of federal insurance programs like TRICARE.
Arkansas was the first state to approve the legislation. Despite the court's decision, Governor Sanders says she remains confident in the bill, saying in part, quote, "The state will appeal, win in higher court, and set a new standard for the country."
In a separate case, Attorney General Tim Griffin is praising a decision from the U.S. Court of Appeals. It decided to reinstate an Arkansas law that limits how many voters a caregiver can help fill out a ballot.
The advocacy group Arkansas United had challenged the law. A lower court agreed, saying it did violate federal voting rights. But the appeals panel reversed that ruling and is allowing the law to stand. Developing this morning, pressure is building on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to allow more food aid to reach starving Palestinians in Gaza as the war with Hamas drags on.
Netanyahu denies there is any starvation in Gaza, but the pictures in this report from Deborah Pata tell a different story.
And a quick warning, the images we are about to show you include that of a starving child and are disturbing to see.
It is images like these that have sparked outrage over the widespread hunger crisis in Gaza. Emaciated children like 2-year-old Sham Kadeh, who is so severely malnourished she weighs less than 10 pounds. The Israeli government faces mounting anger around the world and at home. For nearly 2 years, protesters have demanded a ceasefire deal to bring back hostages still in captivity. This past week, there was a shift, with some demonstrators condemning the starvation of Palestinians as a war crime. The fierce criticism sparked a furious denial from Prime Minister Netanyahu.
There is no starvation in Gaza.
But even his closest ally disagreed. President Trump speaking in the UK.
We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
Trump added he was going to put a lot of funds into setting up food centers. Bowing to pressure, Israel announced on Sunday it would allow a daily humanitarian pause in its military operations to let aid into Gaza. Israel accuses Hamas of systematically stealing the supplies, although a U.S. government report found there was no proof of this. Both Jordan and the UAE have started airdropping supplies. But as you see here, it is often hazardous. The World Food Programme says the most efficient way is to allow hundreds of aid trucks unhindered into Gaza for a sustained period in order to halt the hunger crisis.
Deborah Patter, CBS News, Amman.
Back here at home, let's check in with Tracy now and a look at the roads this morning.
Well, as we have all morning, and we've been checking Interstate 30 eastbound, right around 65th Street, all the way back to Scott Hamilton. Now, I thought the road work was done, but looks like they just shifted down the road just a little bit. So we're still seeing a couple of lanes that are blocked. So everyone's having to go down to a single lane and make their way through. So again, this is backing up things around 65th all the way back to Scott Hamilton. So it might slow you down just a little bit this morning. And that is where we are seeing most of that. It looks like we may have even had an accident at some point here. Let me pull this up. Debris in road. That is going to be right around exit 135 eastbound. So it's impacting the center right and right shoulder. So again, just stay extra careful this morning. Seeing a little slowdown there in that north terminal interchange, and looking at our drive times, seeing certainly that Interstate 30 is slowing down just a little bit if you're coming in from Benton, taking you a little bit longer this morning. Maybe going around the other way would be a good idea this morning. But coming from Chenal into downtown Little Rock, looking good, and Cabot as well, taking you just about 21 minutes. All right, let's talk about this hot day we have ahead. Looking at our 3-day forecast, we do have a weather impact alert today, potentially seeing 100 degrees, and we do have that extreme heat warning across central and eastern Arkansas as well. We're still going to deal with a couple of days where we're going to see those high temperatures, but then we're going to start to see a bit of a change. Isolated showers are certainly possible all of these days. That will make for a very steamy situation afterwards, especially in the afternoon. That's what we're looking at, but mainly looking for some heavier rain as we're pushing into Thursday and Friday, and that is going to really start to change those temperatures. So we're looking fairly hot here for 3 days or so, and then we're going to drop down to 90 for a high, and maybe even around 88 on Saturday. Yes, please. And we're going to keep at that low 90 on Sunday, and even though things are going back up on Monday, we can still handle 92. It's way better than what we've got going on here. That humidity is going to get a little better as well, staying humid for a few days, but then that drier air really coming in, and that's going to make things feel so much better. Take a look at this dip we are looking at for Saturday and Sunday. Although we are going from that extreme heat down to just cautionary, it's still going to be warm, still going to need to make sure we're staying hydrated. It's certainly going to feel so much better this weekend. We'll talk more about those rain chances and maybe time that out a little bit more coming for you in the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.